Nobody. Hey, everybody. What's happening? It's Friday, April 26th. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Deanna, and I'm streaming out of Humboldt County, about Humboldt County, to Humboldt County, and anyone else who cares. And we are going through a cool study, learning more about our Constitution, our laws, the people's rights, all that good stuff that no one else really taught us. We have to teach ourselves. So, let me see. Let me get my screen shared. I'm so ready for this. Although, funny story, I spent a little bit of yesterday looking for this song I thought was Cicero, Cicero, Cicero. And then I realized, like, later, after a couple hours, it's Figaro. You're looking for a song Cicero, and that ain't even it. That's why you're not finding it. It's Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. But I did get to watch some cool opera singers. I have a new appreciation for opera. So that was fun. And I've been studying up about Cicero, Tullius. Let's see, what's his name? I better say it right. Cicero, Tullius. Where are you? No, Marcus Tullius Cicero. I watched a few videos on him, but I'm going to talk about those at the end. I'm just going to get right into the study. Keep this moving right along here. Thank you for everyone who watches me later. Sometimes I sit here all by myself, and it's kind of lame, but I know that y'all watch later, and I would rather do it live than upload a recording, because sometimes people come in and say hi, and that's really fun for me. But for now, we're going through this book here. This is really getting started with the first principle, finally. So we've done an introduction. We learned about what the founders were looking for, their measuring stick to set us up with a new government. And we're going to review that first, because that's part of my new outline. I'm supposed to review the day before's quiz. So if you guys did it, I don't know. I got some back of the classers here and dropouts and stuff. You know, I was a high school dropout. Proud of it. We fared all right in COVID, didn't we? Not beholden to that degree, not beholden to that money, not nobody's you know what. So we did all right, you know. Got no shame in that game. But I'm a self-educated, self-taught individual. I learn what I want. I just couldn't do prison. I couldn't do school prison, you know. Never really could. If you didn't know, you can find me on standuphumble.news on the Constitution page. Whenever I'm live, it will be on here because I'm on Twitch. And so it's on this website. I did get a chance to upload all the principles of liberty here for us. And I have a way better understanding and grip on what it is we're doing here than I did last time. Already caught myself making some mistakes. Like I put, for the first 3 streams, I put The Making of America, because that was what the study was all last year. And I realized, I was like, we're not doing that book. We're doing the 5,000 Year Leap. So I'm sure somebody noticed that, but didn't say anything. Was probably just waiting till I realized it myself. Hey, Lauren, good to see you. Tenacious D. Never giving up. All the way to heaven. Here we go. We're on number 1, which is the most exciting one. This is where our unalienable rights come from. No man gave them to us but Creator, God. And so we're going to be learning about that. We've just did a little bit of intro at first. So this is lesson 3. Because you can see here, this is our table of contents. We've gone through ruler's law versus people's law. And that was a long reading. All of the studies aren't going to be that long, you guys, just so you know. Okay, they're not going to be that long. But we are going to go through this quiz real quick from Wednesday's study. So here we go. The 2 extremes of today's political spectrum are anarchy and tyranny. And it's good to look at that measuring stick that was given to us by the writings right here. Just to give a refresh, this is really what they were starting to hash out what kind of government should we have. And so people's law sits right in the middle of anarchy and tyranny. And I showed Humboldt County how we have both right now. We have 3 professed anarchists on the city council, and we have a tyrant, Miles Slattery, as a city manager. Also new tyrants, public health directors, and just new appointments and new agencies that they've grown here since COVID, and seek to keep us under their thumb. That's why we have to learn this stuff and stop them. And we don't have to take them on in their capacity. We're going to just dance circles around them and make them irrelevant and unnecessary, and say goodbye. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Na, 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 na. All right, so let's do the quiz. Well, we're on number 2. The 2 extremes of the founders' political spectrum are the 2 extremes. Oh, well, we always refer to that as communism and fascism. But I think I got these mixed up. I said the answer wrong. I have it right in my book, but I said it wrong. Number 1 is the extremes of political spectrum is communism and anarchy. The founders used that ruler with them on each end and called it anarchy and tyranny. Communism and fascism. Good golly, girl, get your stuff together. Okay, number 3. Give 2 characteristics of ruler's law. I had put down here chaotic confusion, no law, forces violence and conquest, fewer from the top down. It asks for another 2, so power from the top down. So I'm just giving you all 4. Again, people's law, give 2 characteristics and then 2 additional. For people's law, commonwealth of freedom, natural laws, and the individual, family and community, divine rights. Oh, I shouldn't have just bullet pointed that. Characteristics of rules law. Individual, family, community. We have individual responsibility and responsibility to our family and our community. And we have divine rights. 7. The founders admired which 2 civilizations for their similar form of government? The ancient Israelites and the Anglo-Saxons both came out of or lost to the Black Sea there. 8. Describe the 2 sides of the U.S. seal as originally proposed. Israel and pillar of fire on one side and Haggis and Horse on the other, the brothers, Anglo-Saxon brothers, who brought the common law to the British Isles. 9. Give 2 things the founders warned us to not let happen. Strong central government, paper money, welfare state, taxes, and deficit spending. There's a few. And 10, lastly, of our review of Wednesday's study and this quiz, the common denominator among the founders was that they all had the same basic principles / convictions. So that was giving us our foundation to really get into how they're setting up this government. And so we're going to talk about the genius of natural law. As a result of this lesson, students should be able to discuss the following questions and topics. 1, briefly describe the Roman statesman Cicero, his life, writings, and fundamental teachings. 2, what are the main characteristics of natural law? 3, according to Cicero, what unique trait do God and man have in common? 4, why do the concepts of natural law so closely harmonize with Christian beliefs? 5, what advice would Cicero give to modern lawmakers and citizens of nations? 6, name several concepts in our American system of government that have their basis in natural law. I definitely have all the answers for that. So we're going to get right into the reading. Hi, Benjamin. Good to see you. And let me get another page open here so we can have them side by side. It's only 10 pages today. I hope that you enjoy the reading, and I appreciate that anyone listens to this. Cicero was quite a encourager of standing up for himself and knowing our history. And he's very, I had no idea how regarded historical figure he was. But we're going to learn about him today together. And let me get to that page. So I get to leave all these lessons up. I don't know what's going on with Rumble. I wonder if I'm even streaming live. Let me see, because okay, good. Oh, I wonder if I'm even there's my big mouth. Let me see, because yesterday's was weird. I don't know what's going on with yesterday's. At first it was saying the URL is not available on the server. Now for the last 24 hours, it's processing at 33%. 33% for the whole day. So I don't know what's up with this, but it's pushing me to want to go ahead and upload these classes on BitChute, because I figured out how I can just embed that really quickly now. And if Rumble's going to start dinking around with me, then that's a bummer, because I haven't really had any problems with them yet. Hey to everyone on Rumble, thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much. I've had so much confidence with Rumble, so it's really bumming me out. But anyway, we're going to down here. We've got the lesson number 3 uploaded right under all the questions, quizzes, the outline, you know, all the stuff that you may want to see where we're at. It's in the description box where I'm at. And then right underneath it will be the current study that we're on. So here we go with the first principle. And there is Marcus Tullius Cicero, the founder's favorite expositor of natural law. So where's my book? I'm going to read it from here, because I get that screen. I can't believe I didn't get myself those blue glasses yet. You guys hear about those blue glasses? I'll bet they're helpful. Okay, first principle is the only reliable basis for sound government and just human relations is natural law. Most modern Americans have never studied natural law. They are therefore mystified by the constant reference to natural law by the founding fathers. Blackstone confirmed the wisdom of the founders by stating that it is the only reliable basis for a stable society and system of justice. Then what is natural law? A good place to seek out the answer is in the writings of one of the American founders' favorite authors, Marcus Tullius Cicero. The life and writings of Cicero. It was Cicero who cut sharply through the political anti-matism. What is this? Astigmatism. I don't know how to say that word. And philosophical errors of both Plato and Aristotle to discover the touchstone for good laws, sound government, and the long-range formula for happy human relations. In the founder's roster of great political thinkers, Cicero was high on the list. Dr. William Ebenstein of Princeton says, the only Roman political writer who has exercised enduring influence throughout the ages is Cicero. He was from 106-43 BC. Cicero studied law in Rome and philosophy in Athens. He became the leading lawyer of his time and also rose to the highest office of state, Roman consul. Yet his life was not free of sadness. Only 5 years after he held the highest office in Rome, the consulate, he found himself in exile for a year. Cicero nonetheless showed considerable personal courage in opposing the drift toward dictatorship based on popular support. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, and a year later in 43 BC, Cicero was murdered by the henchmen of Antony. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, and a year later in 43 BC, Cicero was murdered by the henchmen of Antony, a member of the triumvirate set up after Caesar's death. So out of Cicero's maelstrom of turbulent experience with power politics, plus his intense study of all forms of political systems, he wrote his landmark books on the Republic and the laws. In these writings, Cicero projected the grandeur and promise of some future society based on natural law. The American founding fathers obviously shared a profound appreciation of Cicero's dream because they envisioned just such a commonwealth of prosperity and justice for themselves and their posterity. They saw in Cicero's writings the necessary ingredients for their model society, which they eventually hoped to build. We're already through 2 pages, you guys. Only 8 more. Cicero's fundamental principles. To Cicero, the building of a society on principles of natural law was nothing more nor less than recognizing and identifying the rules of right conduct with the laws of the supreme creator of the universe. History demonstrates that even in those nations sometimes described as pagan, that there were sharp, penetrating minds like Cicero's who reasoned their way through the labyrinths of natural phenomena to see behind the cosmic universe, as well as the unfolding of their own lives, the brilliant intelligence of supreme designer with an ongoing interest in both human and cosmic affairs. Cicero's compelling honesty led him to conclude that once the reality of the Creator is clearly identified in the mind, the only intelligent approach to government, justice, and human relations is in terms of the laws which the Supreme Creator has already established. The Creator's order of things is called natural law. A fundamental presupposition of natural law is that man's reasoning power is a special dispensation of the Creator and is closely akin to the rational or reasoning power of the Creator himself. In other words, man shares with his Creator this quality of utilizing a rational approach to solving problems, and the reasoning of the mind will generally lead to common sense conclusions based on what Jefferson called the laws of nature and of nature's God, from the Declaration of Independence. Let us now examine the major precepts of natural law which so profoundly impressed the Founding Fathers. Natural law is eternal and universal. First of all, Cicero defines natural law as true laws. Then he says, true law is right reason in agreement with nature. It is of universal application, unchanging and everlasting. It summons to duty by its commands and averts from wrongdoings by its prohibitions. It is a sin to try to alter this law, nor it is allowable to repeal any part of it, and it is impossible to abolish it entirely. We cannot be freed from its obligations by Senate or people, and we need not look outside ourselves for an expounder or interpreter of it. And there will not be different laws at Rome and at Athens, or different laws now and in the future, but one eternal and unchangeable law will be valid for all nations and all times, and there will be one master and ruler, that is God, over us all, for he is the author of this law, its promulgator, and its enforcing judge. Whoever is disobedient is fleeing from himself and denying his human nature, and by reason of this very fact, he will suffer the worst punishment. In these few lines, the student encounters concepts which were repeated by the American founders 1,000 times. The law of nature, or nature's God, is eternal in its basic goodness. It is universal in its application. It is a code of right reason from the Creator himself. It cannot be altered. It cannot be repealed. It cannot be abandoned by legislators or the people themselves, even though they may pretend to do so. In natural law, we are dealing with factors of absolute reality. It is basic in its principles, comprehensible to the human mind, and totally correct and morally right in its general operation. To the Founding Fathers, as well as to Blackstone, John Locke, Montesquieu, and Cicero, this was a monumental discovery. To Cicero, it was an obvious and remarkable thing that man had been endowed with a rich quality of mind that does not exist among other forms of life except in the most minuscule proportions. Between man and other creatures, there is a gigantic gap insofar as mental processes are concerned. Cicero, as well as the founders, viewed this as a special divine endowment from the Creator. Cicero wrote, "The animal which we can call man, endowed with foresight and quick intelligence, complex, keen, possessing memory, full of reason and prudence, has been given a certain distinguished status by the Supreme God who created him, for he is the only one among so many different kinds and varieties of living beings who has a share in reason and thought, while all the rest are deprived of it. But what is more divine, I will not say in man only, but in all heaven and earth, than reason. And reason, when it is full grown and perfected, is rightly called wisdom. Therefore, since there is nothing better than reason, and since it exists both in man and God, the first common possession of man and God is reason. But those who have reason in common must also have right reason in common. And since right reason is law, we must believe that men have law also in common with the gods. Further, those who share law must also share justice, and those who share these are to be regarded as members of the same commonwealth. If indeed they obey the same authorities and powers, this is true in a far greater degree. But as a matter of fact, they do not obey this celestial system, the divine mind, and the God of transcendent power. Hence, we must now conceive of this whole universe as one commonwealth of which both gods and men are members. No prophet of the Old Testament or the gospel teachers of the New Testament ever said it any better. The first great commandment. Cicero had comprehended the magnificence of the first great commandment to love, respect, and obey the all-wise Creator. He put this precept in proper perspective by saying that God's law is right reason. When perfectly understood, it is called wisdom. When applied by government in regulating human relations, it is called justice. When people together unite in a covenant or compact under this law, they become a true commonwealth, and since they intend to administer their affairs under God's laws, they belong to his commonwealth. Thus Cicero came to what Jews and Christians call the first great commandment. It will be recalled that a lawyer tried to discredit Jesus by asking him, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Of course, there were hundreds of commandments, and the question was designed as a clever stratagem to embarrass Jesus. But Jesus was not embarrassed. He simply replied, Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. The lawyer was amazed by this astute and ready response from the Galilean carpenter, but Jesus was not through. He added, And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. This astonished lawyer simply replied, Well, master, thou hast said the truth. Jesus had picked out what he considered to be the foremost commandment from Deuteronomy 6, 4, and 5, and then selected what he considered to be the second most important commandment, clear over in Leviticus 19:18. The second great commandment. It is interesting that Cicero, without being either Christian or a Jew, was able to discover the power and fundamental significance of obedience, not only to the first great commandment, but to the second one as well. His great mind instinctively led him to comprehend the beauty and felicity of what Jesus had identified as the second great commandment, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Dr. William Ebenstein's comments on this rather fascinating insight among Cicero's writing by saying, There is another note, too, in Cicero that points forward toward Christianity rather than backward to Plato and Aristotle. Cicero is conscious of love as a mighty social bond. Cicero raises this point in connection with his discussion of justice. He points out that justice is impossible to accept under the principles of God's just law, for these virtues originate in our natural inclination to love our fellow man, and this is the foundation of justice. So to Cicero, the glue which holds a body of human beings together is the commonwealth of a just society, is love, love of God, love of God's great law of justice, and love of one's fellow men, which provide the desire to promote true justice among mankind. All mankind can be taught to God's law or virtue. Cicero projected throughout his writings a particularly optimistic view of the potential improvement of human beings by teaching them the elements of virtue through education. Out of all the material of the philosopher's discussion, surely there comes nothing more valuable than the full realization that we are born for justice. And the right is based not upon men's opinions, but upon nature. This fact will immediately be plain if you once get a clear conception of man's fellowship and union with his fellow men. However we may define man, a single definition will apply to all. This is a sufficient proof that there is no difference in kind between man and man. In fact, there is no human being of any race who, if he finds a guide, cannot attain to virtue. Legislation in violation of God's natural law is a scourge to humanity. We're almost done, you guys. Just a couple more pages. We cannot complete our review of Cicero's discourse on natural law without including his warning against legislators who undertake to pass laws which violate the laws of nature and of nature's God. But the most foolish notion of all is the belief that everything is just which is found in the customs or law of nations. What of the many deadly, the many pestilential statutes which nations put in force? There is no more deserved to be called laws than the rules a band of robbers might pass in their assembly. For if ignorant and unskillful men have prescribed deadly poisons instead of healing drugs, these cannot possibly be called physicians' prescriptions. Neither in a nation can a statute of any sort be called a law, even though the nation, in spite of being a ruinous regulation, has accepted it. Biting my tongue, keeping my mouth shut for the sake of the study. All laws should be measured against God's law. Cicero then set forth the means by which people may judge between good and evil laws. All laws must be measured by God's laws, which is described by Cicero as follows. Therefore, law of the Creator is the distinction between things just and unjust, made in agreement with that primal and most ancient of all things, nature. And in conformity to nature's standard are framed those human laws which inflict punishment upon the wicked and protect the good. Cicero also emphasized that the essence of an evil law cannot be mended through ratification by the legislature or popular acclaim. Justice can never be expected from laws arbitrarily passed in violation of standards set up under the laws of nature or the laws of the Creator. Here is his argument. But if the principles of justice were founded on the decrees of peoples, the edicts of princes, or the decisions of judges, then justice would sanction robbery and adultery and forgery of wills in case these acts were approved by the votes or decrees of the populace. But if so great a power belongs to the decisions and decrees of fools, then that laws of nature can be changed by their votes. Then why do they not ordain that which is bad and baneful shall be considered good and salutary? Or if a law can make justice injustice, can it not also make good out of bad? Cicero's conclusion. It was clear to Cicero as he came toward the close of his life that men must eliminate the depravity that had lodged itself in society. He felt that they must return to the high road of natural law. They must pledge obedience to the mandates of a loving and concerned Creator. What promise of unprecedented grandeur awaited that future society which would undertake it? He wrote, as one and the same, nature holds together and supports the universe, all of whose parts are in harmony with one another. So men are united in nature, but by reason of their depravity they quarrel, not realizing that they are of one blood and subject to one and the same protecting power. If this fact were understood, surely man would live the life of the gods. The American founders believed this. They embraced the obvious necessity of building a highly moral and virtuous society. The founders wanted to lift mankind from the common depravity and chicanery of past civilizations and to lay the foundations for a new kind of civilization built on freedom for the individual and prosperity for the whole commonwealth. This is why they built their system on natural law. Let's give a few examples. And this is the last page and a half here. It may be surprising even to Americans to discover how much of their Constitution and their lifestyle is based on principles of natural law. For example, the concept of unalienable rights is based on natural law. 22 of these unalienable rights are listed, but they're too innumerable to count. That's what Amendment 9 is for. The concept of unalienable, or is it 4? Yeah, it's 9, right? The concept of unalienable duties is based on natural law. 20 of these unalienable duties are listed on pages 134 through 135. The concept of habeas corpus is based on natural law. The concept of limited government is based on natural law. The concept of separation of powers is based on natural law. Checks and balances to correct abuses by peaceful means is based on natural law. The right to self-preservation is based on natural law. The right to contract is based on natural law. Laws protecting the family and the institutions of marriage are all based on natural law. The concept of justice by reparation or paying for damages is based on natural law. The right to bear arms is based on natural law. The principle of no taxation without representation is based on natural law. These few examples will illustrate how extensively the entire American constitutional system is grounded in natural law. In fact, natural law is the foundation and encompassing framework for everything we've come to call people's law. This is precisely what Thomas Jefferson was talking about when he wrote in the Declaration of Independence, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." These well-remembered phrases from America's initial Charter of Liberty are all primary presuppositions under the principles of natural law. And then we're going to go to the second one, which is our Constitution was written for a moral and religious people. But I have a couple notes on Cicero. I watched quite a few videos. I watched a couple last night, and I watched a couple today. And I got a couple notes about Cicero. He was too weak for military service, so he was not physically, stout. And so that was why he really took up filling his mind rather than his might. He was one of the first to go up against, or to go into, he became a consul, which we did read about. He got to be the highest. I liked one of his quotes, one of his famous quotes is, "If you have a garden and a library, you have all that you need." He wrote the book, The Republica. I think that the founders got a lot of their information from him for the Republic and our common law and all that system. Hey, Vex, good to see you. It's good to talk to you last night. All platforms are suspect, some more than others. Yeah, I've heard that. My friend Jason Zoom has been telling me, Rumble's compromised. They've been sold out. They're owned by BlackRock. He's been telling me for a while. The internet of the law is more important than legislation. Completely upside down. Yeah, completely upside down. Let's see, where am I at? 32 minutes. There was a quick little... I watched a bunch of videos, but there was this one I really thought I would just share a couple... minutes of at the end. Let me go to my history. Today's topic for how am I supposed to do it, to pick a subject for what's going on today. Let's take the Free Palestine protesters right now. Just in case that idiot Sherman's watching me that I had to block today on Facebook. He told me to go home, go back to Chicago. Because the Only in Humboldt crowd is just shredding these protesters. I mean, their weapon of choice is a 5-gallon Crystal Springs water bottle, And there's just all these funny memes right now about it. And so I just said, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Which... somebody didn't like, and he lurked on me and then told me to go back to Chicago. But it's like, you know what, dude? You're so stupid. You're so stupid. These kids today, if they were to look at natural law, if they were to even look at the history of what they're standing there and supporting, it's pretty hard. I love and I will defend the people's right to protest, peacefully protest. I don't care what you're doing it for. I support your right to peacefully protest. When you cross the line, you start destroying property, and you take the first shot at the cops. You've blown it. You've blown your peaceful protest, and you're not on the same page with your fellow man, because nobody here has anything to do with what's going on over there. And you're so damn ignorant about what's going on over there that you're standing up for people that would kill you in a New York second. It's just ridiculous. There's not even enough time to go into how ridiculous it is and how stupid people are that go out there and right now, today, you're going to put your life at risk. Let me just tell you what, this is not the time to be out there protesting. It is not. Oh, did you? I took it off of my, I don't think I have Discord on my computer, but maybe I'll look in my phone for it real quick. Let me try not to forget that. The memes are just exploding, okay? It's just, I'm like, keep them coming. Good stuff. You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. A salt water bottle. I mean, this is what they've done. And it wasn't funny. You guys, if you watched my stream when I was sharing the live when they were there, I had a friend I saw who's a police officer, and I did not like the way I was seeing that going. I know her heart. I know she's a good cop. And to watch them attack her and to watch them attack them, what are they doing? They're blockading themselves in this building. They've got their tents up on the lawn. They're doing what they're programmed to do. They're little puppets. You know, this is what they did. They attacked they're banging the cop's head with a water jug. You know, excuse me, you blew your peaceful protest right there. Then it turned and you started calling them pigs. This is not caring for your fellow man, okay? If we're to get anywhere, this is my favorite. If you're to get anywhere in this world and actually come to remedies and solutions, you can't be hating your fellow brother and sister. And you sure can't be banging their head. And, you know, to set yourself up in your college that your parents pay good money for you to be there, to be educating yourself, for you to be falling for the latest, greatest movement, which is a group of people that would kill you. I mean, there's nothing to say, really. It's just so, you know, just like, support your rights, peacefully protest. I have nothing bad to say about you people, even if you're ill-informed and you're standing up for something you believe in, other than I do suggest you research a little more about Hamas and your support for Palestine. You know, how about you support all people? How about we all bleed red? How about that one? That's where I'm at. You know, let's get our rational reasoning mind back together. It is the gift of God, you know. Let me see if I can get this real quick here, what Vex has. And, oh yeah, let me get that little video. I'll look for that. I'll find that. Did you tag me in it? I see Ben Shapiro moves take Tucker down. What is it, Vex? Let me see if you tagged me in it. I'm not good on messages. Okay, I got it. Oh, right on. Yeah. Oh, that is a great picture. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to put my own little thing together of stuff like this, right? My own little grand jury training thing. And then I'm going to put it on the website because somebody asked last night in the assembly about where is grand jury in the book and in the Constitution or where they could find it. And I've got a lot of stuff on that. I've done a study on that. And all right, let me send this to him. Yeah, that's perfect, Vex. Thank you. It shows 10 Commandments and it shows natural law and how closely related they are. And we do learn about this all the time on our assembly calls, on our trainings. It's a lot to learn, you guys. If you're not privy to that, you know, I will show you real quick. Where's that guy I watched? Oh yeah, it's history to be remembered. I found a new channel I really like. I'm gonna get this up while
Tullius, Cicero is considered
while I get this emailed over to myself, and then I can share it up.
Popularity at all, but glory. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the History Guy. Short snippet anime est, spes esse dicitur.
Cataline, yeah, that was so interesting. This was a really cool little story.
And then be disposed of. Octavian, who would go on to rule as emperor in his own right, probably heard this.
Oh, yeah.
And
all right, I wanted to share the end of that video. It was really good. Okay, you could hear that. Okay, all right, let's see. So the end of this here, let's get the last couple minutes here. Let's see.
Antony was incensed, and Cicero permanently lost another powerful political ally. Then, when Caesar's will named his nephew, Gaius Octavius Turnus, also known as Octavian and eventually as Caesar Augustus, as his adopted son and heir, Cicero made another fatal misstep. He thought Octavian, a young man and relative newcomer to Roman politics, would be simple to steer in whatever direction the veteran senator chose. Cicero was wrong. Of Octavian, Cicero said, "The young man should be given praise, distinctions, and then be disposed of." Octavian, who would go on to rule as emperor in his own right, probably heard this witticism and never forgot it. Octavian, Antony, and a general named Marcus Lepidus formed a second triumvirate and found as much, if not more success, as the first alliance. They set up a prescription, essentially death warrants for their political enemies, and among those marked for death was Cicero. Antony sent a group of hand-picked men to kill Cicero, who had fled Rome when it became apparent that the winds of fortune were against him. The soldiers found Cicero at his seaside villa. He was in a palanquin, apparently trying to flee when the soldiers arrived.
What's a palanquin?
According to historians, Cicero said, "There's nothing proper about what you are doing, soldier, but do try to kill me properly."
I like
that. The men cut off his head and also his hands and brought them back to Rome, where the grisly trophies were displayed in the Senate, at the very place where Cicero had experienced some of his greatest triumphs and delivered his memorable speeches. Antony's wife, Fulvia, took a further step of pulling out Cicero's tongue and sticking pins through it in a final petty act of revenge against the man who she felt so maligned her husband. The senator who had once saved Rome from rebellion was dead.
And that's how they did him in the end. Isn't that a lovely story? I watched another one. There was like a reenactment. I didn't realize they were going to do the whole spear down his neck and everything. So, yeah, someone who stood up for the natural law, really, really educated people on it, made his way up in the Roman government to the highest seat, took on, did he take on Caesar? He was exiled for a year, and then he was allowed to come back. I mean, just wow, wild life. This is a great little thing on Cicero. I like this guy a lot. Oh, a conveyance formerly used. Oh, yeah, I saw a little picture of it. The palanquin. A conveyance formerly used, especially in Eastern Asia, for one person that consists of an enclosed litter borne on the soldiers of men by means of poles. Yeah. Yep, I should have looked that up first. Thank you. I did not, though. Okay, so we're getting into 50 minutes. I'm going to get off this soon, because I don't wanted these to be too long. I wanted these to be like 20 to 30 minutes, but I'm just kind of getting into the groove now. I've realized how it's going to go. Okay, so yeah, you know what's interesting too is I took a note that Cicero was not a Christian or a Jew, but he certainly appreciated the the two greatest laws, right? And we hear this all the time. We all know the 10 Commandments. I'm going to read you the common law principles that go right along with the ones. Don't obsess about an object or person. Don't have no gods before me is the one. Don't exalt anything you created above all else in your life. Do not make graven images. Don't make rash promises or oaths you won't keep, and don't wish anyone misfortune or harm. And that's don't take the name of the Lord your God in vain. They're not exactly the same, but this is what we're working with here. 4, don't work 7 days a week. Your body needs rest. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 5, be respectful to your parents and other people. 5, honor thy father and mother. 6, don't intentionally harm or murder anyone. Don't murder. 7, don't break your promise to your spouse, family members, or associates, including marriage vows. 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. 8, don't take anything that is not yours. Not stealing. 9, don't lie. Bearing false witness against your neighbor is lying. 10, don't obsess about what someone else owns or has a relationship with to the point you would violate any of the above two rules, obtain it, or destroy it. Basically, treat everyone how you want to be treated and finish everything you promise to do as long as it doesn't break any of the above rules. And the commandments verse here at the bottom, someone put, for all the law is fulfilled in one word, which is this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Galatians 5:14. Also, Jesus said that. So, I don't have a problem with the commandments themselves. I really don't like hearing people curse God's name in vain at all. I think there's a blessing in praising his name. I know there is. And I'm not saying that you're cursed when you do it, but why? Pick another swear word, that's all. You know, pick another swear word, see if it doesn't make your life better somehow, to have some self-control, to not be having Jesus' name and damning God rolling off your tongue. It's not edifying to the body. It changes the vibration greatly. So, you know, I definitely have a fear of God more than a fear of man. I think it's good to fear God, but, you know, if people have a problem with that, then do the common law principles. If that's what you do, you, boo. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to love you. I still support your right to be free, whether I agree with you or not. Even that idiot Sherman who wanted to sit there and tell me to go back to Chicago today. You know, you go back. I've been here 32 years. This is my home. I'm fighting for Humboldt County. I don't get to leave. I would go somewhere else, but I wouldn't go back to Chicago. I would go somewhere else, but I wouldn't go back there. I do have this little prayer warrior book my friend Jen gave me. I like to finish off with a little something, something good. We did something about fasting last time. I didn't expect that, but I was letting you guys know I'm 2 weeks not smoking, which is great. It's good to give up that fleshly stuff, and there's a lot of people doing sobriety breaks off alcohol right now. It's really awesome to see people being sober-minded and taking control of that flesh, because America is a land of spoiled fruit. It is completely fleshed out, and we have so much prosperity. Even the poorest homeless person on the street, most of them got an iPhone. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Just blows my mind. I mean, I really should have put a bookmark in this thing. Oh, here we are. Identify the immediate battlefield. This is a good one about negativity, and just a short little thing. I like to leave you with something positive. Lord, help me to clearly see when the enemy of my soul is attacking my mind with negativity. Teach me to immediately bring my thoughts and feelings under your control and into obedience to your ways. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Help me to bring every thought captive under your lordship. I know that my weapons are spiritual, and I am empowered by you to use them on any battlefield that presents itself to me. Thank you that your angel encamps around me and delivers me and those whom I pray for. Psalm 34:7. Thank you that you give your angels charge over me and my family to keep us safe and lift us up when we stumble. In Jesus' name I pray. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. And that is Psalm 91. It's awesome. If you don't know Psalm 91, read the whole thing. Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, and be gracious unto thee. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys for learning with me today. I really appreciate all of you that are here. One more thing real quick. If you have not found your county assembly, do so. California is assembled. There is a grand We're assembled, you guys. California's assembled. If you had not seen the press release, it's right here on this stream I did with Sean Stryker, which is probably why I'm getting a little bit of censorship from Rumble. If you hang out with these kind of people, these troublemakers, they'll make your life harder. Look at Cicero. Cicero. No, it was Figaro. The California General Jury has reassembled due to the findings and facts originally brought forward on July 31st, 2021 and September 23rd, 2023. The reason why these were delayed is because of that false, fraudulent group, Anna von Reitz, and Ann Vandersteel, Mickey Klon. They're all getting called out, and there's a Michelle Moore who is calling them out. Her last shows have been awesome, and I am into watching more of her shows. If you haven't seen these shows, you need to see these shows. She's calling out all these grifters. And where was it? Oh, wow, she's done a lot of them. Family court, people that have had their lives threatened. It's coming out. Oh, there's a documentary looks like I might need to share. Maybe I'll stream that one. She wouldn't care if I streamed it, would she? I'm not trying to make money. Look, she calls them out. She's calling out people. I think this is the one that Sean dropped in.
6th of February and said, hey, are you...
Oh, yeah, I was watching that. Yeah, these people all had experiences with Anna von Reitz, Ann Vandersteel, Mickey Klon, and they're calling them out. So we need to know. Scott McKay, all these big popular streamers, too, that people go watching. Now, she's kind of popular, so I'm not typically one to watch. I don't watch a lot of popular streamers. I watch Lou Valentino because he's boots on the ground. I watch people that are boots on the ground that are out doing stuff, usually. And if they can help me in my community. This, I will watch these people because I've lived through this. I've experienced this, and I try to teach people about the enemy within, infiltrators. Watch your back. People will say they're your friends, and they'll stab you right in the back or right in your face. And Americans haven't learned this yet. Oh, I like him. Oh, I like them. Don't like nobody. Don't like nobody. Vet your people. Trust but verify, right? We're not verifying. These people, they're getting called out. They're all getting called out. So it's very exciting. I've waited for this a long time. There's been a lot of frauds, a lot of grifters, a lot of sellouts, a lot of people who say, I love Jesus, and they've got the flag and the cross, and they're not doing a thing for their community at all. Nothing. They're trying to make money. They're trying to get famous. I've got no time for that. We have really serious issues going on. So the true We the People is the one that has a long list that goes back and back and back. Which this one isn't working. Where is it? I mean, you can learn all about the assembly. This is the one that I'm involved in. Yeah, question everyone and everything always, for real. This is the one I'm involved in. Vex here is too. There's some people that follow me and watch this class. They never comment, but we're here. And the reason is because, nobody wants to be a target. And it's dangerous stuff, but, some people have to be out there. And I'm not going after these people. Like I said, I'm going to do circles around them. I'm just going to kick butt. This is where most all of the history, you want to know who the We the People are? Get on this page. I'll go over to Rumble and drop that off for you guys too. Because I remember I got to sit down and have a chat with Destry and Sean, and I think we're going to get to do another chat soon because Sean and I finished up our where is it? Where'd it go? We finished up our 10 steps to assembly. So he mentioned that Destry may come back and do another stream with me, which will be awesome because I'll be way more educated and have a feel for what is going on. But these records go back to 2011. Michigan is assembled. Alaska is assembled. California is assembled. Big things are happening. Do not let them lie to you. We're living right now in anarchy and tyranny because we have 2 police states that are more activated than the people in certain counties. If your county looks tyrannical, it's because your people aren't assembled yet. And you need to get, it takes 13 people to tell these people, adios. Are you willing to do the work? This is the work. Stop being starstruck with the famous streamers. Who cares? They're not going to help you be free. I was starstruck 3 years ago when I thought somebody was coming here to help me. And they did. They were a popular streamer at the time. But they sold out. They went the way of the My Pillow, the Clay Clarks, the Flynns, all that. None of that will help your community. None of that will help your county. This will. Last night was the state national call. I don't rightly know how many states were on it. 31 is the most I've heard. I think last night was like 28. We're present. We're learning. We're activated. But you're not going to hear a lot of people talking about it because everyone's got their own role to play. So I'm not trying to poo-poo other streamers that are doing what they're doing. All I know is I got to focus on, it's work to stay focused on my community because there are so many distractions and issues and rabbit holes. After 3 years on YouTube, if you're still watching me and you have not got yourself somebody in your community that you can hone in on, be that person. But if you're still, find that canary in the coal mine in your community. They're on life support. And they probably feel like giving up. Because they probably feel like nobody cares. If you don't know where to find them, go to your city council, your board of supervisor meeting. They're showing up. We all show up sporadically because we're not on the same page yet. These people should not be allowed to walk down the street. They're all frauds. They don't have a proper oath or bond. We've shown that, Humble. Did you not know that? We've proven that. We've done the work. The work's done. Just waiting for you. Just waiting for y'all. We've got our original charter. We're ready to go. They're taking over the mental health in the county. They've appointed a mental health worker. How will you like it when they're drugging up these people and keeping them in? They already are at the hospital. I know people that work at the hospital. They're keeping people drugged up in there. What good is that doing? What are they doing with these people? Why do they want to do that to people? They've done this in the past, you recall. I would like to read this to Humboldt again one more time. It always makes me feel so good. This is one of the affidavits that I served to them. And it has been sent certified copy to the places where they needed to go. A recent investigation has revealed that none of you listed on page 2 of this notice of fraud are qualified for the position office that you occupy. The California State Constitution and the general law require each of you to have a bond filed with your oath of office. The purpose of this official's bond is to bind the elected, appointed, or hired official to her or his oath of office. Neither the Humboldt County Lands Record Office, Risk Management Office, or the Secretary of State's office file clerks can find an official bond or oath of office recorded into the public records. Therefore, you are all occupying a vacant office, fraudulently and feloniously embezzling from the public treasury. Every action you have made and are making is null and void. Soon, the people on the land of California State, the people of Humboldt County, will become aware of this. It may be far better to publicly appear and defend or resign forthwith. Failure to deny is to admit. They have been given notice that we have given them no permission ever to express our power in regards to health, education, energy, and weather manipulation. Oh yes, that's right. They've been made aware. Religion or investing the people's public treasury. These people are out of control in Humboldt County. They are making up laws as they go along. They have been oppressing, suppressing, and persecuting people that have bought property here for properties before them, owners before them. This is the mental health contract that they put out, 74 pages. The Institute for Justice
Humboldt
is
County
all
says
over
IOO.
these people here. If you're not familiar with this page and you're in Humboldt County, you need to get familiar with this page quickly, because this is all the corruptions here. It's all here. These people are frauds. They are the corporation of the United States of America. Arcada's been served as well. They've been served as well. We are the people we've been waiting for. When we get them, then we'll get them. That's all we can do is just assemble. Alaska assemble, Cali and Michigan are interim. Oh, thank you. Correct. Interim. There is a difference. But none of you know that, so it doesn't matter. I don't barely know it, but I'm here to tell you about it. So, look, there's 3 words. There's 3, what do we call it? Behaviors, I guess, for actively disengaged. It has to do with your awareness with money, too. It's a Dave Ramsey concept. Actively disengaged. People are actively disengaged. We need to be actively engaged. Find your county assembly. Find your canary in the coal mine in your community. If stuff gets hot and it looks really bad right now, there's crimes coming up from Southern California. All you got to do is open up any paper in California, Northern California, and I don't care where you're at, you're going to find people pulling guns out at people. An 18-year-old down at the drive-through in Leggett had a gun put to her head and cocked. Some people in Hopland. That tells me they're creeping up. They're creeping up. They're going to be here. The streets are going to be filled with criminals, because that's what the criminals do that are in power. They release the criminals. That's what they do. So we have to be focused and detoured on rapists and murderers getting off and getting out. And until we stand up and assemble and take control of the community, nothing will change. These people don't care. People go there and talk to the city council and they ask them questions. Please do this. Please do that. They don't give a crap about you. They will never help you. You have to help yourself. The most godly, righteous people in the book, all throughout the book of the Bible, they stood strong, even in the face of courtrooms. We cannot be cowardly anymore. Yes, they're corrupt. Call them out. Red flag them. You see what's going on in New York with Trump? He's showing us. He's showing us. Look what they're doing to him. Yes, they do it to us too, but we have to fight a little bit to reveal who these people are. Don't we? I did. I took it all the way. I got to go too anyways. I said, arrest me. I'm not wearing a mask. Arrest me. Then they did. These people are tyrants. They're crazy here. I want to self-govern, you guys. I don't want to be ruled by these people. I want to be free. I want to be free. All right, I'm out of here. I got to stop ranting. Maybe I'll come back and do a rant later. Obviously, I'm not done talking. I really appreciate you all who are here for the study, and all of you guys who watch it later. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Even if nobody ever commented, I'd still have to do this. So, love you guys. See you on the next.